Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Massa Tutorials. Please do all to subscribe to this channel. Alright, so in this video we'll be considering equation of a line. So let's see. Consider a line through the point A. We have this point A, x1, y1, with gradient, let's say m. Let B xy, let point B xy, be any other point on the line as shown. So we can find for the gradient using that. So we can say that m equals what? y2 minus y1 all on what? x2 minus what? x1. So now this one is our x1, y1, then let's say x2, y2, right? So we can say that m. So m must be equal to y2. y2 gives what? Y. Then y1 gives what? The same y1. All on x2 gives x. Then minus x1 gives x1. So now, let's continue. So we can say that here is on 1, right? So we can multiply through. You can do cross multiplication or the cross product, sorry. You can do the cross product known as what? M will multiply x minus what? x1. Then y1 will multiply what? Y minus y1. So I get y 1 times this expression y minus y1 gives what? Y minus y1 equals m multiplies x minus what? x1. So now this is termed as what? Finding for the equation of a what? Of a line. That's the general formula for finding the equation of a line. Where this y is constant, we don't put any value inside. Then this y1, we put a value inside. Then x1, we put a value inside. But this x, we don't put any value. Then this m is our what? Is our gradient. So now we can start finding for what? The equation of a line if we know that. Or you can use the slope equation, which is what? Y equals mx plus c. You can use that to find for the equation of a line. Make sure that you can express the equation. When you are done finding for the equation of a line, you can express it in this form. Or you can express it in ax plus by plus c equals what? 0. So you can express the equation of a line in this form. You can use this formula to find for the equation of a line, or you can use that. It's very simple. Alright, so let's start. So let's start by finding the equation. So they said, find the equation of a line passing through the points. Find the equation of a line passing through the points. So find the equation of a line. The question says, find the equation of a line. Find the equation of a line passing through point A, which is 1, 5 and B. -3, 8. So how best can we find for the equation of a line? Given 2 points. So this time around, they've given us what? 2 points. How can we find for the equation of that line? So now, we have 2 points. So point A, let's assume that point A is 1, 5 here. Then point B is -3, 8 here. So if you want to find for the equation of that line, you can first what? Find for the gradient, because we don't know the gradient, whether the line is increasing or whether the line is what? Decreasing, or whether the line is a vertical line or what? A horizontal line. We don't know that line, so we have to find for the slope or the steepness or the strength of that line. So if you want to find for the gradient, which is m equals y2 minus y1 all on what? x2 minus what? x1. So we proceed and say that here is our x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 gives 8 minus y1, which is 5. All on x2 gives -3 minus x1, which is 1. So 8 minus 5 gives what? 3. All on negative 3 minus 1 gives you a negative 4. So I have the equation, the gradient, which is what? Negative 3 on what? 4. The gradient is negative 3 on 4. So which means that the line is what? Decreasing. The line is decreasing rather. The line is decreasing. So this one is wrong. So the line is decreasing. So we must represent that line as a decreasing line. A decreasing line. So this one, the line is decreasing. So 1, 5, then point B, negative 3, 8. So now, since we are done finding for what? The gradient, we can go ahead and find for the equation of that line. Because we can use any point here. You can use point A, point B. Why? Because they are all on the what? On the same straight line. We have point A. This line passes through that line. It passes through this point, and also this line passes through that point here. So we can find for what? The equation using any point. If and only if you solve it well, we will get the same what? Answer. So we can quote our formula, which is what? Y minus y1 equals mx minus what? x1. So this gradient is multiplying the expression. So I have y, we don't put any value inside, then minus y1. We can say that this one being our x1, then y1. We can also say that let point B, negative 3x1, then positive 8y1. It's the same thing. So y1 is 5. So we get negative 5 equals our gradient, which is negative 3 on saying 4. Then x minus x1, which is saying 1. So now we can multiply. Y minus 5 equals, I have that, I'll get negative 3, 4. X, negative 3 on 4, x. Then negative times negative, which is what? Positive. So I get 3 on 4 because it's multiplying 1. We get the same answer. Now, we can represent this in the form y equals mx plus what? C by making y the subject. So I can send this negative 5 to the right hand side. Then I'll get y being equal to negative 3 on 4x, then plus 3 on 4, then plus 5. So I can say that y equals what? Negative 3 on 4x. Then here 4, 5, 20, 20 plus 3, I'll get what? 23 on 4. So this one will be what? The equation of that line. So the equation of that line, we can use that. Alright, so watch it very carefully. Alright, now we can also use another formula, which is what? We can use this y equals mx plus c to find for the equation of the line. We can use that. So let's try that and let's see. We know our gradient, which is what? Negative 3 on what? 4. Our gradient, which is negative 3 on 4. So we can use y being equal to mx plus what? C. So we can start. Y being equal to, we know m, so we fix that. We know that our gradient is negative 3 on 4. Then I have my x then plus what? C. Now we have to go and find for this c, because I can determine my y and my x from any of the 2 points. I can say that this one being my x then y, or this one being my x then y. You have used this point, so let's use that. So xy. So my y is what? 8 being equal to negative 3 on 4. Then my x is what? Negative 3. Then plus what? C. So I can find for c. Right. So now I get 8 being equal to this one, they are multiplying. So I get negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9 on 4, then plus what? C. Then I can group like them. So c being equal to this one crosses. Then I get what? Negative. So 8 minus 9 on what? 4. Then c being equal to 8, 4. We get 32, right? 32 minus 9 all on what? 4. Then we get our c being equal to what? 23 on 4, right? Because 32 minus 9 gives 23. So we can say that what? I have my y being equal to mx plus c. Still our y is there. Then I know my gradient, which is negative 4 on x. Then plus addition is what? 23 on 4. So this one is very, very simple. You can also use that. So you can watch it very carefully. Alright, So let's proceed to the next example. Let's proceed to the next example. It says what? Find the equation of a straight line with gradient. It says we should find the equation. Find the equation of the straight line. Of the straight line. Of the straight line with gradient. So they've given us m, which is -2 on 5, which passes through the point. Which passes through the point. Which passes through the point. So point. Which passes through the point. 3, -1. So now let's see solution here. So let's see. We have our gradient, which is -2 on 5, right? -2 on 5. Then my point, so we can say that let point z be equal to what? 3, -1. So that's my point z. So I've named the point. So the named point is what? Point z. Alright, so now we can start. You can use y equals what? Mx plus what? C. Then I'll be straightforward. You can find for that. Now, so let's go. I know my gradient. I know my point. So this time around, they've already calculated the gradient for you. So it means that with the gradient given, I can know that is my line increasing or is my line what? Decreasing. Because the gradient is negative, the line is what? Decreasing. The line is decreasing. The line is what? Decreasing. That's a downward what? Slope. Then the question has given us what? Only one point on the line, which means that this line passes through what? That point. So let's say point z is here, which is 3, -1. So now we can start. Here is my x, then y. Our x is 3, our y is -1. So y -1 equals m -2 on 5. Then our x is 3, then plus c. We can calculate for c. Then we have -1 being equal to, we multiply -6 on what? 5. Then plus what? C. Because -2 times 3 gives you -6 all on what? 5. Then we group like terms. This one comes right then -1 plus 6 on 5 equals what? C. So our C being equal to 5 times -1 gives what? -5, then plus 6 all on what? +5. So I get -5 plus 6 all on 5. So C being equal to -5 plus 6 is the same thing as 6 minus 5, which is 1 on 5. So now 1 on 5. So I can conclude that okay, our y being equal to mx plus c. Now y being equal to, I know my m, which is -2 on 5x, then my c, which is 1 on 5. So that's the equation of that line. You can also express that equation in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. So now let's see, by sending this one to the left hand side and that. So I get what? 2 on 5x. Then I bring it, which is what? I have my plus y, then what? Minus 1 on 5 being equal to what? 0. Right. So you can multiply through by 5. You can get that. You can multiply through by 5. So multiplying through by 5, when it multiplies this, I'll get what? 2x, because the denominator cancels the LCM. Then here plus 5 times y gives what? 5y. Then here denominator cancels, so I get my 5. Then here it multiplies till 0, so I have that. So which is in the form ax plus by plus c. We can say that what? A equals 2, b equals 45, then c equals what? -5. Right. Alright, so you can watch it very carefully. Alright, so now let's look at the next question. The next question. The next question. The next question, which is find the equation of a line with gradient. Find the equation of the line. Find the equation. Find the equation of a line with gradient with m, which is equal to 5 on 2. 5 on 2, which passes, which cuts the y-axis, at the point y equals -4. So we have this. So they said you should find the equation of a line with m being equal to 5 on 2, which cuts the y-axis at the point y equals -4. So now we can sketch our Cartesian plane. So I have my positive y-axis, negative y-axis, negative x-axis, then my origin, then positive x-axis, right? So now our gradient is 5 on 2. So I can say that since our gradient is a positive gradient, then the line is an increasing line. That's an upward slope, so I can get something like that. Now, so this one, that's the gradient, 5 on 2, right? Then which cuts the y-axis? So it cuts the y-axis here. So now, they are saying that it cuts the y-axis. They are saying y equals -4. Then it must be at the negative y-axis. So not here. Here is the positive x-axis. So this one is not drawn to scale. So I can get something like that. So now, here. So I get the -4 somewhere here. Okay. So now, then my gradient is what? 5 on 2. So they said we should find for what? The equation of the line, which cuts the y-axis. Now, if it cuts the y-axis at point y equals -4, then that means x is what? 0. If x is 0, y is what? -4. That's the y-intercept. So this is called the y-intercept, meaning that that straight line cuts the y-axis. That's the y-intercept. So our point here is 0, -4, right? So meaning that x equals 0, then y equals what? -4. Then we know our gradient being equal to what? 5 on 2. When it's a positive gradient, it means that it is what? Increasing, right? So I can start with what? My y minus y1 being equal to mx minus what? x1, right? So now, so starting y, we don't put any value, then minus y1. We know our y1, which is the same thing as that, x1, y1, which is -4. So -4, we have minus already, and this one too is -4. So mind you, equals m is 5 on 2. Then x minus x1, which is what? 0. So I have that. So I get my y, negative, I get positive. So plus what? 4, being equal to what? 5 on 2. Then x minus what? 0. So I get my y plus 4 being equal to 5 on 2 what? X minus this one, I get what? 0. Because 5 on 2 times 0 gives what? 0. Then still I have my y plus 4 being equal to 5 on 2x. 5 on 2x minus 0 is the same thing as 5 on 2x. So now, we can make y the subject, then I'll get y being equal to 5 on 2x. Then this one goes to the right hand side, and I'll get -4 because it's what? A positive value at the left hand side. So when it crosses the equal sign, I get that. So that's the equation of the line. That's the equation of the line. So y equals 5 on 2x minus 4. So kindly watch it carefully. Alright, so let's continue. So now, find the equation of a line. Let's see the next question. Find the equation of a line. Find the equation of the line with gradients, let's say, still 5 on 2, which cuts this time around, it cuts the x-axis at the point x equals -4. So this time around, x equals -4. So find the equation of a line with gradients 5 on 2, which cuts the x-axis at what? The point x equals -4. So solution here. So we can draw our Cartesian plane, y, -y, x origin, -x, right? So now, it cuts the x-axis, okay, so now, at x equals -4, so it's somewhere here, -4 is somewhere here, right? So then that means the gradient is 5 on 2, that's an increasing function. So I get something here as that, right? So now, if it cuts the x-axis as x equals -4, then what was our point? Then that means it is -4 comma what? 0, because y must be equal to 0. That's the x-intercept. For every x-intercept, y equals what? 0. For every x-intercept, y equals 0. So now, I can start by finding my what? My equation of the line. So I know my gradient being equal to 5 on what? 2. Then I can proceed. So I know my y minus y1, which must be equal to mx minus what? x1. So which is y minus y1. So this one is x1, y1. Our x1 being equal to -4. Our y1 being equal to what? 0. So which is 0 being equal to m. Our m is 5 on 2. Then x minus our x1, which is -4. So -4 here. So I have y minus 0 is the same thing as y, equals 5 on 2. Then here I get x plus 4, right? So now y being equal to, I multiply through, right, by 5 on 2. So I get 5 on 2x plus 5 times 4, which is 20 on 2. Then I get y being equal to 5 on 2x plus 20 divided by 2, or 2 divides 20, which is 10. So I get the equation of the line, which is y equals 5 on 2x plus 10. So kindly watch it carefully. Alright, so let's see this question. Let's see this question. Find the equation of the line. With x-intercept 3 and y-intercept -5. So solution here. Find the equation of the line with x-intercept 3 and y-intercept -5. So it means that x-intercept, I explained to you earlier on that the x-intercept where the line cuts the x-axis. So it means that line, the supposed line, cuts the x-axis at point what? 3. So it means that y must be equal to what? 0. So for every x-intercept, y equals what? 0. So I get my point, which is what? X equals what? 3, then y equals what? 0. Then, if we are continuing, and they said what? Y-intercept, which is what? -5. So for every y-intercept, x must be equal to what? 0. So it means that for every y-intercept, x must be equal to 0. So I know my x being equal to 0, then my y, which is -5. So these are the points of that. So these are the points. Now, the question didn't give you what? The gradient of that line. So you have to find for the gradient. Now we know our point, which is 3, 0, then 0, -5. So now, we can label this point as point A, then point B. So here is our x1, y1, then x2, y2. We can find for the gradient. Now finding for the gradient, you know that m equals y2 minus y1, all on x2 minus what? x1. So our y2, which is 0, minus our y1, which is also 0, all on x2, which is what? 0, minus our x1, our y2, which is -5, then minus our y1, which is 0, all on our x2, which is 0, minus our x1, which is 3. So I get -5 minus 0, which is -5, all on 0 minus 3, which is minus -3. So this one cancels, then I get my 5 on 3, which is a positive gradient. Then that means the line is what? It's an increasing function or an upward slope. It is increasing. So if I want to find for the equation of that line, then y minus y1 equals x minus x1. I know that my y here, we don't put any value inside. So y minus my y1, you can take any point. So I can use point, let's say b, that's 0, -5. Then I use point b, 0, -5. So this one is my x1, then my y1. So my y1 is -5. Mind you, there's minus then -5 equals m is 5 on 3. Then x minus x1 is 0. So I have my y, when they meet, they form what? Positive. Then plus 5 equals 5 on 3. I multiply. So I get 5 on 3, x minus what? 0. Because 5 on 3 times 0 gives 0. So I have my y plus 5 being equal to 5 on 3x. Because 5 on 3x minus 0 is the same thing as 5 on 3x. Then I make my y the subject here. So I have y being equal to 5 on 3x minus 5. Because when this positive 5 crosses, or when it comes to the right hand side of the equal sign, being it here is positive. So when it crosses, we get negative. So then that means this is the equation of the line. Very, very simple. So you can watch it carefully. Alright, so let's continue. Our last example. Find the equation of the line. Well, let's see. So find the equation of the line which passes through the origin with gradient -6. So find the equation of the line which passes through the origin with gradient -6. Now let's solve this. So solution. They said the question says that what? The straight line passes through what? The origin. It passes through the origin, and we know that when a line passes through the origin, then the origin is represented as what? 0, 0. So we can say that let O being equal to what? 0, 0. That's it passes through the origin. Then we know that the gradient is what? Negative 6. That's what? A negative gradient. So that means the slope or the straight line is what? It's a decreasing what? Function. It's a decreasing function. That's a downward slope. A downward slope. So now you know a point on the line, then you know the gradient or you know the strength of that line. So you can find for what? The equation. And the equation is represented as what? Y minus y1 equals what? Mx minus what? X1. So now this one is x1, y1. So y, we don't put any value inside. Minus y1, which is 0, equals negative 6. Then x minus x1, which is 0. So I have y minus 0 is y, being equal to I multiply through. So I get negative 6 what? X. Negative 6 times negative 0 is 0. Is 0. So let's say plus 0. So I have my y being equal to negative 6x, because negative 6x plus 0 is the same thing as negative 6x. So it means that our equation of that line is y equals what? Negative 6x. Very, very simple. So kindly watch it. All right. Let's see this question too. Let's see this question. So the question says the equation of the line. The equation of the line. The equation of the line through this point 4, 2 and another point negative 8, negative 2 is 3y equals px plus q, where p and q are constants. Find the value of P and Q. So we are to find for the value of P and Q. We are to find for the value of P and Q. We are to find for the value of P and Q. If the equation of that line passes through the point, so we can say that let point Q equals what? 4, 2, and point R equals what? Negative 8, negative 2. So now, they've given us the point, and now they've given us the equation of that line. But this time around, the equation of that line is incomplete. It's incomplete because we don't know the value for P, then the value for Q. So now, how do we go about this question? Then, if you want to solve this question, then why don't we go straight forward, then find for what? Our equation of that line, because we know 2 points given, right? So we can find for the equation of the line. Just go straight, do your normal thing, right? Find for the equation of the line. But now, you don't know the gradient, but you have been given what? 2 points. So you can find for your gradient. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So I know my m being equal to y2 minus y1, all on x2 minus what? X1. So y2 is what? Negative 8 minus y1, 2. All on x2 is what? Negative 8 minus y2 is negative 2. Y2 negative 2. Then minus y1, 2. Then x2 negative 8 minus x1, which is what? 4. So negative 2 minus 2, which gives negative 4. Then negative 8 minus 4, which gives negative what? 12, right? So I get this, negative 12. So now negative cancels negative, then we get positive. 4 here, 1 into 12 is what? 3. So I get 1 on 3, right? So this one, m equals 1 on 3, which means that the supposed line is what? Is an increasing function because the gradient is what? Positive. So we get an increasing function for that line. So now how can we find for the equation? We can use only what? 1 point, either this or that. So y minus y1 equals m, x minus what? x1. So y, we don't put anything inside. Minus y1 is 2 equals m. So we are using this point Q on the line, right? So now m is 1 on 3. Then our x minus x1, which is 4. Then we can go through, which is, we can use the LCM. We multiply through by that. So I'll get 3 times y, which is 3y, minus 3 times 2, which is 6, equals 3 times the whole of that. We get 1x minus 4, right? So 3y minus 6 equals 1 times that is the same thing as x minus 4. Right. So now, let's see. Let's send minus 6 to the right hand side. So 3y equals x minus 4 plus 6. So I get my 3y equals what? X plus 2. So now, we are done. This is the equation of what? Of the supposed line, right? Now, the question says, the equation of the line through 4, 2 and negative 8, negative 2. S 3y equals px plus what? Q, where p and q are constants. Find the value of p and q. So now, we have to compare. We have 3y equals what? Px plus what? Q. Then we had what? 3y being equal to what? X plus 2. So we can compare because they are the same, right? We can see that 3y, then here x, then here that's that. So now x and x, what's the coefficient of x here in equation 1, which is saying 1. So I can say that p equals what? 1. Then q equals what? 2. So we can conclude that therefore the values of p and q is what? 1 and 2 respectively. Then you are done. Very, very simple. Then you are done. Alright, so that's that. We'll end our tutorials here with this equation of a line. I believe you've had something now. Alright, kindly do well to subscribe to Massa Tutorials for any mathematics video of your choice, right? So a small is a step ahead, so kindly relax, everything will be alright. You understand everything perfectly, right? Right. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching. Thank you. We shall meet again. Bye bye.